At the turn of the 1900s, the concept of living long in retirement was foreign to most people. To think that you would retire to a vacation home, on the beach, sipping your favorite tropical fruit drink after playing golf or bridge, well, for most people it was unthinkable. Most people were lucky to even see the age 60, let alone 70 or 80 or even 100. In today's world, we all have a vision of what we want retirement to look like, and it just might be that beach house. In an effort to encourage retirement savings, tax law was changed in the 1970s, creating the 401k and the IRA, which is individual retirement account. The change gave employees the ability to save money now and pay no taxes on the contribution or the gains while in the 401k account. Taxes would only be paid when money was withdrawn after retirement. Federal law allows each person in the United States with a valid Social Security number to have a retirement account. Current law allows the employee to participate with a company retirement plan or to have one on their own called an IRA, and sometimes both. Some companies offer a pension plan that will last a lifetime, but these types of plans are going away. Today, several types of retirement plans are available to the average working American. These plans come from an employer-employee relationship. Said differently, these plans are funded while you are working, and many plans have a wonderful benefit such as a company match. You may have heard of some of them. The 457 plan for government workers, the 403B for employees who work in a nonprofit organization, such as a hospital, schools, and churches. The 401k for employees in for-profit companies, such as FedEx or Walmart. And the SEP, the Simplified Employee Pension Plan, used by many self-employed workers or business owners with few employees, such as realtors or independent contractors. This type of plan that your company has generally depends on the number of employees and the company's corporate structure, like for-profit, not-for-profit, C corporation, partnership, or limited liability company, just to name a few. By the way, why do they call it a 401k? Have you ever thought about that? Well, quite simply, it was Internal Revenue Code 401, paragraph K, that allows the employer and the employee to enter into this type of retirement account. That's why you can only get a 401k from your employer. No matter which type of plan the company offers, tax law generally treats these plans similarly. Therefore, for the ease of our discussion today, I'm only going to explain them all as if they were an IRA. And as I mentioned before, an IRA stands for Individual Retirement Account. Individual, because it can only be titled to one individual. Retirement, because the investment is geared towards retirement and there is a penalty under normal circumstances if withdrawals are made before you're 59 and a half years old. While in the IRA, the investment grows tax-deferred. This is wonderful. An account means that your funds are held by a financial institution and can contain almost any type of investment. But I tell my friends that an IRA really is just an umbrella. Simple as that. A simple analogy using the concept of an umbrella follows. If you're outside and it's raining, the umbrella protects you from getting wet from the rain. Well, inside of the investment world, the umbrella protects you from becoming soaked by the taxes. Money deposited into the IRA, deposited under the umbrella, is pre-tax. You either make an annual contribution or roll over money from another 401k or 403b plan that you used to work at. Now that the money's inside the umbrella, it's protected from being soaked by the taxes. There are no taxes of any kind, no capital gain tax, no income tax, as long as the money stays below the umbrella and in the IRA. Once the money is under the umbrella, where is it invested? Great question. My answer is this: in coffee cups. So review Unit 5, Investments, for a greater discussion of coffee cups. But let me give you an example. If you walk into the local bank, they might have a placard displaying their IRA rates for CD investments. They might have a 12-month rate or an 18-month rate, for example. Well, if you deposit money into their IRA, you have used their umbrella to shelter the money from taxes. And you have used their coffee cups containing a CD for 12 months or 18 months. And if you walk to a different bank, then you would use their different IRA umbrella and use their different coffee cups. And if you go to a financial advisor, you would use their IRA umbrella and their coffee cups. The financial advisor's cup will contain a wide variety of choices from CDs to bonds to stocks and mutual funds and more. And now that you know an IRA is just an umbrella, then you will quickly realize that you can use any institution that offers umbrellas. You can get your IRA from an insurance company, from a brokerage firm, an individual financial advisor, and banks, each offering coffee cups with different contents. Remember, federal law provides for the IRA in the first place. The company you wish to buy yours from provides the investment options. The same is true with your 401k and your 403b and your SEP or other employer-sponsored plan. Through federal law, they provide the umbrella and they give you investment choices for which to invest your money. This might be still a little unclear for now, but let me walk you through the following illustration. I'm certain that when we're finished, it will make more sense. When you put money into a retirement account, the flow of that money is from the left to the right. So starting on the left, the money you save and the money that the company matches is not taxed. This investment money is pre-tax, and then it goes underneath the umbrella. And while under the umbrella, it's deposited into coffee cups and grows tax deferred. Those coffee cups hold different investments based upon the overall risk of that coffee cup. So if you have a bond coffee cup, well, that holds bonds. And if you have a large company coffee cup, well, that holds stocks of large companies. And you can have an international coffee cup, and that holds stocks of international companies. The different choices of coffee cups depends on the company's decision as to which coffee cups they offer in the plan in the first place. And if you went to a bank or a brokerage firm or an insurance company, those institutions would give you a selection of their coffee cups to choose from. Well, over time, you can move from one coffee cup to another. You can change your risk by selecting different coffee cups with different risks. It's entirely normal that as you move forward in your life cycle, and that's a fancy way of saying as you get older, you will likely take less risk, and certainly as you get closer to retirement. Well, the money that remains in the coffee cups under the umbrella is not taxed. And if you move companies or from one bank to another, as long as you keep this money inside of a new umbrella, so you transfer from one umbrella to the next, that transfer occurs without taxes. Now, there is a barrier on the exit side, on the right side of the umbrella. Under normal circumstances, federal law requires us to be 59 and a half to withdraw money from retirement accounts. And if you're withdrawing from a 401k, you can normally withdraw at age 55. Well, if you pull out before you're 59 and a half years old, a 10% federal penalty is usually assessed on the amount that you pulled out. And you have to pay ordinary income taxes, even on that penalty. There are a few qualified exceptions allowing you to pull money out before you're 59 and a half. These exceptions include substantially equal periodic payments, or the 72T rule, like a first-time home purchase, or medical expenses, and for certain education expenses, just to name a few. Please work directly with your financial advisor if you need money from your IRA before you reach that magic age of 59 and a half. Qualified exceptions forgive the penalty, but you still have to pay ordinary taxes. And you're going to want to review the IRS publication 590 for more details. But on the left side of that umbrella, money was contributed tax deferred. There was no taxes when the money was put in, and the money that the company put in for you, the match. But on the right side of the umbrella, there is a tax. All of the money withdrawn from the IRA or the 401k is taxed at ordinary income, at the tax bracket at the time that you're at when the money is withdrawn. This is not a new tax, it's just regular income tax. And one last consideration for us to think about is the required minimum distribution. Federal law requires you to pull money out of the IRA once you reach the age of 70 and a half. The first distribution is required by April 1st of the year following the year that you turn 70 and a half. So here's an example. If you were born in January of 1947, you would turn 70 in January of 2017. And you would turn 70 and a half in July of 2017. Your first payment is required by April 1st of the following year, 2018. If you were born in August of 1947, just 8 months later, you would turn 70 and a half in March of 2018. You would have until April 1st of the year following in 2019 to pull out your first required minimum distribution. So here's a question for you. Why does the federal government require a distribution at all? Well, according to the Federal Reserve, there is over $8 trillion, yes, that's with a T, $8 trillion inside of retirement accounts. And not 1 cent of that money has been taxed. So why do they require a distribution? Greed. The government requires distribution because that's the only way they can collect tax revenue from this money. The government has even been so kind as to create a convenient table for us to use, which will determine the amount that they force us to take each year based on our age. That table is called the Uniform Table for Determining Factor of Lifetime Distributions. You don't want to get this required distribution wrong. If you do, there is a hefty 50%, yes, 50% penalty that's imposed. So based on the value of your account, you will go to the table and you'll determine the amount that needs to be withdrawn. If the required distribution is $10,000 and you don't take it, the federal government will impose a $5,000 penalty. So please consider consulting your investment advisor or your qualified accountant to help you determine the amount that you need and the amount that is due. please make sure that you have named beneficiaries on all of your IRA accounts. Your named beneficiary will have some wonderful options when inheriting the money and may be able to take the money over their lifetime. This will only happen if the IRA holder named a beneficiary. Unfortunately, if the beneficiary receives this money from the estate, then they will lose the ability to stretch over their lifetime. If you have outlived your beneficiary, then immediately update to a new one. As a general rule, you should also name a contingent beneficiary as well. And if you don't, then the probate process will determine who will receive this inheritance if the primary beneficiary predeceases you. Everything that we've talked about so far has been about the traditional IRA or the 401k or the 403b or other company-sponsored retirement plan. They all work the same way, generally with the same restrictions. Now let's change our discussion to the Roth IRA. First of all, why do they call it the Roth IRA? Well, quite simply, it was Senator Roth from Delaware who introduced the legislation that created this kind of IRA, which now bears his name. And this new IRA is quite delightful. So let's draw a new umbrella and start from the left side like we did before. As you remember, for the traditional IRA, the contributions were pre-tax. They grew tax deferred, and then all of the money was taxed at withdrawal, at whichever tax bracket you were at that time. For the Roth IRA, the money is ordinarily taxed going in. This is an ordinary tax on your income. You don't get to have a tax write-off. This is not a new tax, but just the regular tax that is assessed at the time you earn the money. Now that it's inside of the umbrella, where is this money invested? Well, I hope you answered coffee cups, and you would be right. The money is invested in coffee cups that you select based on your risk tolerance. And moving to the right side of the umbrella, the same age barrier exists, 59 and a half. You have to be 59 and a half to pull money out without triggering a federal penalty. But here's the beautiful part. When you pull money out of the Roth and you're 59 and a half, then all of this money is tax-free. All of it, even the gain. Ordinarily, you would think that the amount that you put in would be tax-free because you already pay taxes on it. And you'd be correct. It would make sense, according to our tax code, that the gain would be taxed because it's never been taxed. You would expect that. But in this case, and in the case of the Roth IRA, even that gain is tax-free. And that's pretty cool. So here's another question for you. When is the required minimum distribution for the Roth IRA? Remember, in the traditional IRA, you had to start taking withdrawals at 70 and a half. So when do you have to start taking withdrawals from the Roth? Well, this is kind of a trick question. You had to start taking withdrawals from the IRA to trigger a tax, but the Roth doesn't have a tax. Therefore, there's no distribution requirements ever while you're alive. This tax-free feature in the Roth is a wonderful exception in our tax code and can be very favorable to your income needs in retirement. So this brings us to a very interesting strategy. Do you switch from the IRA to the Roth? Well, like all planning questions, the answer is maybe. Here's what you need to consider. Remember, when you withdraw from the traditional IRA, there is always a tax at the time of the withdrawal. This does not change, even if you're going to put the money in a Roth. But as you're going to put the money in the Roth, there is no federal penalty. So as a rule of thumb, the younger you are, the more attractive the switch may be. You would pay ordinary income tax that would be added to your ordinary income at the time that you made the switch. But then you would enjoy all of your money coming out tax-free at retirement. Well, I strongly recommend that if you have an IRA and you're considering switching to this wonderful advantage of the Roth, that you consult with your financial advisor or your CPA professional. Together, they will consider your current tax bracket, your time horizon before retirement, and other factors to see if that switch is likely to benefit you. Certainly, you have the option of starting a Roth IRA with new money. So you can keep the traditional IRA or 401k as is and start a Roth IRA. Sure, you can have both. This way, when you're over 59 and a half, you can decide if you want to have a taxable withdrawal from your IRA or a tax-free withdrawal from your Roth. This additional choice can be an excellent opportunity for you. I tell this umbrella analogy all the time, and one of my retired friends returned from a cruise and shared with me that she had ordered one of those tropical fruit drinks. Well, the waiter brought it to her poolside lounge chair as she was soaking up the rays. When he handed it to her, it was one of those tall, thin glasses filled to the rim with the drink, and on top was one of those tropical umbrellas stuck into the drink. And she said that she couldn't stop laughing as she was thinking that she was drinking from her IRA. Well, retirement accounts can have wonderful benefits. Not only do they grow tax deferred, but they can be stretched by your beneficiaries. However, there are many details with these types of accounts. Check with your financial advisor as to how to best use your retirement account now and coordinate it within your estate plan.